All right, hey everyone. Looks like we're diving into Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood today.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, we've got this awesome in-depth analysis document here. And, instead of just like going over the plot, we want to figure out like
Right.
what makes this show tick?
Yeah.
Why is it considered a masterpiece?
Exactly. Why is it considered a masterpiece by, so many?
Even if you've, never even seen anime.
Yeah, what are those like core elements that
Yeah.
resonate?
Yeah, exactly. What makes it so special? So I'm looking at this analysis, and right off the bat, this whole idea of equivalent exchange,
Right.
that's like this fundamental law of alchemy in the show,
Uh-huh.
but it seems like it's way more than just a plot device.
It's not just like a thing that makes the magic system work.
Yeah.
It's really woven into the
Right.
DNA of the story. It's woven into the world building. It's really reflecting this idea that to gain something, you must lose something.
It's like a real world concept.
Yes.
It's very relatable.
Like, think about it. Haven't you ever been in a situation where you had to make a sacrifice
Yeah,
to achieve something you really wanted?
totally.
I know I have.
Oh, yeah, all the time. Like, this show takes it to a whole other level.
Yeah, Brotherhood really kind of magnifies this idea.
Yeah.
And you see it right from the beginning, and the analysis mentions this too.
Right, with the Elric brothers.
With the Elric brothers, right.
They try to bring their mother back
Mm.
using alchemy, and
Yeah.
it backfires terribly.
It goes horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Because, like, you're not supposed to mess with human life.
Right. And
We can't just bring people back.
it costs them, what, Edward loses his leg?
Edward loses his leg, and Alphonse loses his entire body.
His whole body.
He becomes a soul bound to a suit of armor.
Oh, wow.
And that right there, that act of human transmutation is a huge violation of equivalent exchange.
Yeah.
And that sets the tone for the whole series.
Like, it's not just about material things. It's like the weight of choices and
It's the choices you make, the consequences.
the consequences, yeah.
And how those ripple out and affect everything.
It makes you think, like, if that hadn't happened, would they have even gone on this whole quest?
Right. That's a great question. Would they have delved so deep into the nature of alchemy if they hadn't experienced that loss?
Right. It's like that's what sets everything in motion.
It's that initial act that kicks off their entire journey.
So the Elric brothers, they're interesting because it's not just about getting their bodies back.
Exactly.
It's their internal struggles, too.
It's like, what's going on inside?
Yeah.
What are the emotional consequences of this?
Like Edward's guilt, for what happened to Alphonse.
Yes. The analysis really picks up on that.
It's like he's hiding behind this fiery personality.
He's got this bravado,
Yeah.
right? This, like, fiery energy.
Mm.
But underneath, he's carrying this immense weight of guilt.
Wow. And then Alphonse is like the opposite.
Alphonse is so gentle, so wise. But think about it. He's trapped in this armor. He can't experience the world in a normal way.
That's got to be so hard.
Right. He's forced to confront his own humanity on a completely different level.
So they're both facing this huge challenge, but they react in such different ways.
Completely different ways.
Yeah.
But they're still connected.
Yeah. Which makes their bond as brothers even more interesting.
Oh, absolutely. That brotherly dynamic is one of the things that makes their story so captivating.
They're always like pushing each other, but they also have each other's backs.
It's not just a simple hero's journey. It's about their relationship, how they challenge each other, support each other.
Okay, so let's talk about like the bad guys for a second.
Okay.
Anime is known for these like over-the-top villains.
Yeah.
But this show, it seems like they do things a little differently.
Brotherhood definitely takes a more nuanced approach. It presents these antagonists who aren't just straight up evil.
Right.
They're morally ambiguous. They even have moments where you sympathize with them.
Like Scar, for example.
Exactly. You look at Scar, at first, he seems like a classic vengeful villain. He wants to punish alchemists.
Right.
But then, as we learn more about his backstory, about what happened to his people, it becomes clear that his rage is tied to the dark secrets of Amestris. The nation itself plays a role in his villainy.
So it's like he's a product of the system.
In a way, yes. And again, this ties back to the theme of equivalent exchange, but on a societal level.
Wow.
It's like Amestris' actions had consequences, and Scar's rage is one of them.
That's crazy. So it's not just like heroes versus villains. It's more complex than that.
It's way more complex. Brotherhood makes you question those easy categories. It asks us to consider different perspectives, different sides of the story.
It's like, what makes someone a villain? What choices lead them down that path?
And can we even clearly define good and evil? Those lines get blurred in Brotherhood.
It sounds like this show really makes you think.
Oh, definitely. And
Yeah.
that's just scratching the surface. We haven't even touched upon the world of Amestris itself.
Oh, yeah. That's next.
Yeah, the setting is incredible. It's this blend of real and fantastical elements that's just mind-blowing.
Awesome. I can't wait.
It really is. It's like you have this world that feels familiar with its technology and societal structures, but then you throw in alchemy, this magical force that can literally reshape reality. It's a fascinating juxtaposition.
Yeah, I was reading about that in the analysis. It's not just random magic. It's like it's rooted in real-world alchemy, right?
Exactly. There are these clear influences from both European and Chinese alchemical traditions. It's like the creators took those historical concepts and then imagine how they might evolve and integrate into a society on the cusp of industrial revolution.
So it's like instead of coal and steam, they've got alchemical energy powering everything.
Exactly. And that's what makes the world of Amestris so believable, so immersive. It's grounded in something tangible, even though it's ultimately a fantastical setting.
That's really cool. I can definitely see how that would add a layer of depth to the world building.
Oh, absolutely. And it doesn't stop there. The attention to detail extends to the geopolitical landscape as well. Amestris, it's not some perfect utopia.
Oh, really?
This show hints at these, like military conspiracies, moral compromises, all the messy stuff that comes with a nation grappling with rapid advancement and power struggles.
So even the heroes, they're not just fighting some external evil.
Right. They're forced to confront these internal conflicts, the complexities of their own nation's actions.
It's like they're operating in this morally gray area where there aren't easy answers.
Exactly. And that makes their choices, their struggles, so much more relatable.
It reminds me of real-world politics, where it's not always clear what the right thing to do is.
It definitely parallels those real-world dilemmas.
Speaking of morally complex figures, what about the homunculi?
Oh, yeah. Those guys.
The analysis makes them sound really interesting. Like they're not your typical villains.
Not at all. I mean, on the surface, they embody these deadly sins.
Right.
Pride, envy, wrath, all that. You'd expect them to be like pure evil.
Right. But it sounds like there's more to them than meets the eye.
Way more. Brotherhood delves into their origins, and it turns out they have these surprisingly tragic backstories.
Oh, wow. So it's like, what events in their past led them to become embodiments of sin?
Exactly. It's like the show is asking what kind of pain, what kind of trauma could warp someone to that extent.
That's pretty deep. It makes you rethink the whole idea of good versus evil.
Absolutely. It challenges you to look beyond those simplistic labels and consider the complexities of their motivations.
It's like even the most monstrous figures can have human origins.
And that's what makes them so compelling as antagonists.
I can't wait to see how that all plays out. Okay, so we've talked about these complex themes, the characters, the world building. But what about the visual side of things, like the animation?
Oh, the animation is fantastic. Studio Bones, they're known for their high-quality work.
Yeah.
And they really outdid themselves with Brotherhood.
The analysis was raving about it, especially their ability to capture not just action, but emotion, too.
That's what makes it so special. It's not just about, making things look cool, although they definitely do that. It's the subtle details, the way characters' eyes convey their feelings, the way their body language speaks volumes.
So you're saying it's not just about the big, flashy fight scenes?
No, it's way more than that.
Yeah.
It's about using the animation to bring the characters to life, to make you feel what they're feeling.
That's what separates good animation from great animation.
Absolutely. And it's not just the visuals. The music plays a huge role, too.
Oh, yeah, the music. The analysis mentioned something about that.
The composer, Akira Senju, he did an amazing job. The soundtrack is this incredible blend of orchestral pieces and these more intimate melodies. And he uses them so effectively to enhance the emotional impact of each scene.
Oh, wow. So it's not just like generic background music?
Definitely not. It's like another layer of storytelling,
Yeah.
You'll have this soaring orchestral piece during a big battle scene, and then it'll transition to a delicate piano melody during a quiet moment of reflection. It's really powerful.
It sounds like the music is almost like a character itself, adding depth and nuance to the narrative.
Exactly. And that's what makes Brotherhood so special. It's this seamless fusion of all these elements, the story, the characters, the visuals, the music, all working together to create this truly immersive and unforgettable experience.
Wow, it really sounds like they put so much thought into every aspect of Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood.
They did. It's amazing. Like, all those elements, the story, the characters, the animation, the music, they all come together so perfectly. And that's why, it has such a huge following. Even people who aren't usually into anime can appreciate it. It's just that good.
It really seems like it transcends the genre. We've been talking about these like big, serious themes, political power, the ethics of science.
Right.
But does it ever make you laugh? Are there funny parts too?
Oh, totally. Brotherhood has a great sense of humor. It's not all, doom and gloom. There's plenty of lighthearted moments, witty banter between the characters. It's really well
Oh,
balanced.
good. I like that in a show, that balance. It keeps things engaging. It's like real life, right? You need those moments of levity.
Exactly. It makes the characters feel more real, more relatable, and the humor in Brotherhood never feels forced. It just flows naturally from the situations and their personalities.
Yeah.
Like Edward, for instance, he's got this serious side, but he's also got a short fuse. He gets flustered easily. So, that leads to some pretty funny moments.
Oh, I bet. Especially with his brother Alphonse, I can only imagine the dynamic there.
Oh, their interactions are priceless.
Yeah.
You have to see for yourself.
Okay, well, as we wrap this up, I
Yeah.
want to circle back to equivalent exchange.
Right. That core concept.
It just seems to run so deep throughout the whole show.
It does, doesn't it? It's not just about alchemy. It's about life. Like, every choice we make has a consequence. Right.
Yeah.
Sometimes those consequences involve sacrifice. You have to give something up to get something else.
It makes you think about your own life, your own choices.
It does. It makes you reflect. Like, have you ever had to make a tough decision knowing that it would cost you something? That you might lose something important along the way? Brotherhood really forces us to confront those tough questions.
Yeah, it does. And it reminds us that nothing comes for free.
Right.
Everything has a price. And it's like a good reminder to be mindful of those costs, think about the potential ripple effects of our actions.
Absolutely. Because sometimes those ripples, they can spread further than we ever imagined.
So for our listener out there who's about to start watching Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, what's like the one thing you'd want them to keep in mind?
That's a good question. I would say pay attention to the details. The show is so rich with symbolism, foreshadowing, little things that connect to bigger ideas. You'll miss a lot if you're not paying attention. It's the kind of show that rewards multiple viewings.
Oh, so like every time you watch it, you discover something new.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what makes it so great. It keeps you engaged. It keeps you thinking. It's not just a passive experience.
That's awesome. It's like the show invites you to be a part of it, to like figure things out along with the characters.
Exactly. And that's the mark of great storytelling. It sparks that curiosity, that desire to delve deeper, to unravel the mysteries. It stays with you long after you've finished watching it.
I think we've given our listener a lot to think about.
I hope so. It's been such a pleasure diving into Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood with you.
Likewise. And to our listener, enjoy the journey. It's an amazing one. And remember, true strength isn't just about physical power. It's about facing the hard truths, making the tough choices, and standing up for what you believe in. Who knows, maybe you'll discover that even in the face of loss and sacrifice, there's always the possibility of finding something even greater on the other side. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.